So thank you to our host, RenaFi. At RenaFi, we teach about the underlying drivers of our behavior. That knowledge leads to better decisions, and better decisions lead to an improved quality of life. Visit RenaFi.com. That's RENA, F as in Frank, I.com. Thank you, Alex, for being here. I'm very, very happy to see you. How did you find your way in South Dakota to improv? What brought you to improv?
Yeah, I remember as a little kid, one day, somehow or another, the TV got turned to Whose Line Is It Anyway? I was probably too young to be watching Whose Line Is It Anyway? But nevertheless, it was on the TV and I instantly fell in love.
Can you explain yes and? What is yes and?
Yes and is the fundamental rule of improv. If you only learned one thing about improv, it's yes and. And that is to accept what's given to you and build upon it. So you say yes to what is said and build upon it.
I think you had mentioned one other tool, like a memory tool, like Friendly Little Giant. Was the tool you had mentioned? Yeah.
Focus, listen, gift. So you need to be focused in on the scene, knowing what's going on. He talks about a soft focus so that you can kind of see everything and you're not hyper-focused on one thing. And then you need to listen to what's going on in the scene, what your scene partner is saying and not saying. Listening can also be watching their body language to see what they're doing. And then the last thing is gift. Give something to your scene partner that's valuable and useful and moves the scene forward.
Interesting. So what does that mean, move the scene forward?
You continually add new information to the scene. You take it on a story arc. One of the story techniques my improv leader has taught us is hash, happy, angry, sad, happy. So at the beginning of a scene, you're happy. Then conflict comes. Maybe you get angry. Maybe you get sad. Maybe you get angry, then sad. And then you get happy again. And then the scene ends, reaches a natural conclusion. So stories have arcs, and you want to keep things moving along the arc, as opposed to going one way, getting stuck in talking heads where you're just standing there talking to each other. You want to be moving around, add stuff to the scene. Moving the scene forward is making the story continue, as opposed to getting stuck in a certain spot, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why is improv so helpful for folks with ADHD?
Oh, yeah. That's the whole reason we're here. Yeah. It's focus, listen, gift. Focus and listening, two key parts of improv. You would think a person with ADHD wouldn't be very good at that. But it's one of my strengths on the improv stage. Why? Because it's interesting. What's going on in the improv stage is new, it's interesting, and you're able to dial in. And because I'm able to focus and listen well in improv, I can take it outside of improv, use those same principles, and help me have better conversations in life, have better conversations as an ADHD coach, be more engaged with the world, and all sorts of different things. Wow.
I mean, you said it's coming at us from all ways. Oh my God, it's so stimulating. So we have another question, since we're rolling along with this, which is improv is a natural channel for ADHD spontaneity, but how do you keep the impulsivity at bay? How do you, right? I've got a great X for Xavier, right? Mm-hmm. Right? How do you manage that?
It's really taking a moment and listening, staying focused, listening, and then you'll know how to properly gift. There's a temptation to go fast in improv. When you start a scene, it's often very slow. And the temptation is, we got to make this funny. We got to do something. We got to get things going. But if you are able to breathe, one of the things that my improv leader likes to do is have us not say anything for the first few seconds of a scene, just act out what you're doing, maybe check in with your scene partner, see what they're doing. And then when one of you feels comfortable, then you start talking. And so just by focusing on doing something as opposed to saying something, you slow down, you're able to think a little more clearly. And it's all about just calming down, staying at peace, getting comfortable, trusting your scene partner. Lean into those things that will slow you down and allow you to think clearly.
Okay, it sounds like lots of transferable skills. Lots of transferable skills. You expand your comfort zone by being willing and brave enough to get out of it. That seems to fit with what you were saying. And I do see some other answers in here about keeping the impulsivity at bay. This is Mike. Just a reminder to choose the everyone in the tab. I find that being in the scene, listening before speaking, impulsivity doesn't seem to even show up for me. I find I'm most impulsive when I'm bored or not focusing on something specific. Yeah, just excellent. Okay. Woohoo. So what's your favorite game? You mentioned Alphabet, which was like, oh, this sounds like an Edward Gorey book in real life.
Yeah,
I'm a fan.
My favorite improv game is probably New Choice. In New Choice, we've got two people acting out a scene, a third person to the side who's in charge of the scene, calling the scene, if you will. And then the two people start acting out a scene. And whenever the person on the side wants to, they can yell out, "New choice." And the person in the scene has to make a new choice. Quite often, it's a new line of dialogue. But it can also be a new physical choice or any other type of choice that the actor has made. And then you play that out, and you can say new choice as many times as you want until you find something you really like, and then the scene continues on.
We've got another question in the Q&A where, a response of, I get it, this kinetic experimental aspect is a kind of muscle memory to pause. Is that how it feels for you?
Going through the process of doing improv and just doing it over and over again, I do get that sort of muscle memory of this is how you do it, to the point where now, with the monthly shows I do, if I haven't had much practice in between, I'm still good to go because I've had the muscle memory.
That's why we try to do these habits and rituals, right? So that some parts of our day, we're not having to think about every move we make, right? And this has got this idea of muscle memory with impulsivity, with managing impulses. This seems like very, very useful. I am not going to wait any longer. I'm going to bring out the other players.
The first game we're going to play is my favorite game, New Choice. Emily and Mike, why don't you take this scene? I'll stand to the side and call things. Melissa, give us a relationship.
Cousins.
Cousins. Ooh, that's a different one. Okay. This is New Choice.
Emily, I can't believe that they invited us to this get together. They know that we don't like them.
Well, it is a cousins thing, and cousins, at least in the Pittsburgh area, everybody's related to everybody else. So did I hear? Oh, a New Choice. Well, look, the food's really good because cousin Sadie knows how to cook. She's been cooking for many years, the same things. And every time we come, she just gets better. So just let's stay for the food.
I got to tell you, Sadie is the one that gave me that recipe for the bolognese sauce. But the way that she said, look, you know what? Sadie's food is always just kind of heavy on my stomach. It's tasty.
New choice.
You know what? Sadie. I thought she was named Sandy. Oh God. Oh, I'm so embarrassed. Well,
she's deaf. Don't you know? She's deaf. So it doesn't matter. She just sees you looking at her and talking. She thinks you're talking to her, and she doesn't get that you're saying Sandy instead of Sadie.
Even with her lip reading, I noticed that she's never corrected me.
No, I'm surprised she still knows her own name, actually, but
Hey,
that's.
did you try the lumpias?
Oh, no, look.
They're just
Now
a little.
I see what I want, the little pierogies. Oh, they're just so.
Oh, I didn't see
in
those.
butter. Yeah, the pierogies are really, they're greasy and they're wonderful. They're buttery.
Good
Now,
choice.
they get buttery. Oh, the pierogies. Oh, yikes. I think maybe they're a little overcooked. I'm going to skip the pierogies today.
Good choice.
I think the pierogies have an unusual aroma. I'm going for the sushi.
Those aren't pierogies, dear. Those are ravioli. They're just really plump.
Oh, that's right. We have that Italian cousin just came over.
That's
Hey,
right.
Luigi. Where's Luigi?
Luigi.
I am Luigi.
Luigi,
Luigi.
welcome.
You made
Hey.
these beautiful ravioli for us. Good to meet you, Luigi.
Thank you very much. I go now.
Well, maybe he's shy. Do you think maybe he's shy? Did we scare him off?
Well, I know I'm a little overbearing at times. Maybe I did. Maybe his English isn't very good. I thought I was coming on to him or something. I don't know.
Listen,
A cousin in this family. What do you expect?
I'm glad you noticed that.
Luigi,
I'm glad Luigi's back.
come back.
Luigi,
Hello.
you got to
Hello,
share the
Luigi.
recipe, man. You got to share the recipe.
Oh, it's a secret family recipe.
But we're
But
family.
It's family.
We are family. And scene.
That's what the world sounds like to the unmediated ADHD kid. At least that was my experience. It does. It really reminds. I just saw a thing on Ella Fitzgerald. It was like scat singing. It's so cool.
Right.
It's because it's not about necessarily the words. It's about connecting with your scene partner, reacting to what's going on. It's being present, hearing what's going on, listening through all of your senses, and being able to react and play the truth to what's going on. And the more that scene went along, the more I knew what it was,
Yes.
the more I knew what was going on.
Yes.
Because we're engaged in the scene and we know what's going on. So that really helps us to move forward and be better connected. So
If there's a comment I'd make to the audience, if you guys noticed, it took me a minute to let go of my initial premise and come in line with what you two were doing. And that happens often. The worst kind of scenes are when you have two people doing different things and one of them won't let go. And I caught that. It took me a minute to kind of walk away from what my opening was. And you guys did a great job of feeding me more. So that's what the gift part is, you guys.
Yep.
And the other part is for people with ADHD, we often have trouble picking up on cues.
Yeah.
And when we practice, we have to look at the body and listen to the voice modulation and the tone and watch what's going on and listen to the emotions that are coming out.
Yes.
Because the words don't make any sense. So we learn to rely on other things, which is what we do in real life. But this just makes it much more obvious that the words aren't helping at all, but everything else that we do with our bodies and our tone carry the scene and carry the message. And that's one thing that we like to learn how to do. I think I read somebody's social cue for the first time last week and I recognized it and I actually made an appropriate response. I shut up.